So I'm going to start with telling you a little bit about myself. My name is Stephanie Inchausti. I am Homestead's branch manager. I've been in the industry for about maybe 3 years now. I used to work for corporate my entire life. I did really well my first year in real estate with rentals. So that's how I dived into real estate, and I left Baptist and became a full-time agent. Within the year, I think I did become the branch manager for Homestead. I'm going to tell you, I don't have a PowerPoint. I don't have anything like that. I'm going to tell you what works for me. I gradually do it. I'm not a script person. When I do cold calling, I go with the flow and what the client is giving me or the objective is giving me on the other end. Like you could tell by the way they talk to you. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate. I'm going to put my number on the chat so you guys can have it, or don't hesitate to ask me any questions on the chat, okay? What do you want to do when you're starting to cold call, right? You want to know everything around the neighborhood. So I work Homestead. For example, I only farm Homestead. I only call communities that I have sold a house in. If I haven't sold a house and I want to get like another area, I will definitely do it in other zip codes of Homestead. I don't live around Homestead, but I know everything that is the schools, the developments, the highway from each community of where it comes from. What else? I know what's coming up. I know there's a shopping center that's going to develop, a Chick-fil-A. There's going to be a Chick-fil-A, a Bonefish Grill right next to us. So I kind of learned everything. You have Baptist, which is a main hospital. So I kind of learned everything around Homestead, so I can be able to feel confident when I'm cold calling, and I can let them know, hey, I know everything about Homestead. I actually dominate the area of Homestead. So I have that confidence myself that I know that they would give me the listing, right? Because who better than somebody that knows the area? So for example, there's other sources of I don't know what everybody uses for cold calling. I'm going to be completely transparent. I use Vulcan 7. I do not use I don't use Mojo. I don't use Vortex. I a firm believer of Vulcan 7. I do not call fizz bowls. I do not call I'm starting to call expireds. I strictly call geo leads, right? Geo leads are geographic leads that nobody is calling. So I'm the one that calls them. They're not getting a ton of phone calls every day from people that are like for sale by owners. By the time they talk to the third or the fourth person, it's already exhausting. They don't want to talk to another agent. They want to see what they can do on their own. So it gets really exhausting calling those for sales by owners. I have tried it. I haven't been ever successful. I got for sale by owner. I've gotten really lucky with geo leads. This is how I got my listings. This is how I do it. And I'll tell you a little bit of what I say when I cold call. So remember, nobody's calling these people. These people have no idea that they want to sell. Maybe it's just something that you're doing and you never, like it's something that you're calling and then you put something in their head that they might want to sell. So these are leads that nobody's calling. Nobody knows anything about. So I asked them, the way I got 3 listings in state of Mendocino were, I'm sorry, wait, hold on, I have a question. It says, I've been calling expires and I've been getting destroyed on the phone. They're so aggressive. I noticed that I am having much better conversation with geo leads. Yes. So why are expires so frustrating? And I kind of noticed now that I'm calling them, it's because their house sat on the market for a certain amount of days. Their real estate agent that they worked with before let them down. So why hire another agent? So what I'm saying to expires leads that I'm currently calling now, because I wanted to deviate out of geo leads, I let them know what happened. I took a look at the pictures. I called ones that you can see the agent was in the picture. I'm like, what happened? How much traction did you get? I see your house was on the market for a certain amount of days. And did you get an offer? Did it fall through? So they'll be like, oh yeah, it was very frustrating. I actually have a listing appointment this Saturday. So yeah, it was super frustrating. They didn't, they didn't do anything on their end to help with the situation. They never hosted an open house. So I don't want to work with an agent. When they told me that, that's it. I already took down notes. They didn't host an open house. So that means they didn't market the property correctly. They didn't, I saw the pictures on the MLS, they were terrible. So those are things that I kind of say. Being in a group helps me a little bit because when I call them, I'm like, hey, we're a group of 13 girls. Our strategy and our best tactic is marketing. So we strategically will cold call Monday. We get the listing on Monday. We take pictures by Tuesday. Wednesday, we're posting it on the MLS, and that Saturday, I will host your first open house. I do the door knocking, I do the flyers, I do everything to bring you the high end. I'll put it on our group chat, which our brokerage has over 2,000 agents. I say all of that. So why I get the listing is because they want to get top dollar. So how are they going to get top dollar for their listing is by marketing their property correctly, by doing all the leeway. So in our group, those are the girls do door knock before they do an open house. They do the reverse prospecting. So those are things that I actually tell them too. I do the reverse prospecting. I'll do the door knocking around the neighborhood. I will do everything that it needs, like for your house to get. So what I'm telling them is to not sign a listing for 30 days, to sign a listing with me to not sign a listing with me for 60 days, to sign a listing for 30 days, since they already had a bad experience. I just want them to give me a chance. I'm not doing it for any less than the other agent is doing it. I've never gotten a listing for less than 5%. Don't cut yourself short. You work very hard for your money. So with that being said, the way I used to call geo leads, I used to call them, like I said, these are not being called. These are people that have no idea whether they want to sell or not. But I call them and I'm like, hey, my name is Stephanie. I never say I'm from Lifestyle International Realty. Those words will never come. I'm a real estate agent from Lifestyle. No, I don't say that. I say my name is Stephanie. I'm an agent here around the area of Homestead. I was looking at your property, 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever, so southeast, whatever. And and they'll ask me, okay, why are you calling me? Oh, okay. At some point, you wanted to know the value of your house, or you were thinking of selling. No, I don't know how you got my database information. Don't call me no more. Absolutely. I'm going to send you a little flyer with my information. If you ever know anyone, whether it's renting, buying, or selling, please inform them of my information. That's all. Move on to the next call. It's the numbers game. So you're going to dial a lot. The way one person was like, so the way I got the 2 listings in Mendocino, oh yeah, because what do you know about, exactly, what do you know about my area? I've sold 2 properties in your area. I already know what they go for. I already know the association, how it works, and I already know what's around the neighborhood. And I probably have a buyer that might be interested since I just had a recent listing there. So I always tell them, oh, if you run, I did have a listing in State of Mendocino. I had 2 listings in State of Mendocino. So my sign was up for me and Jen's sign was up for a really long time. So they would drive, I would tell them, drive around and look at the listing. Look at my sign. You'll see it in the State of Mendocino. So those are things that I would say that they would be like, oh, okay, but what do you think? So one of the listings that I had gotten, another listing that I got from Fresno, was because she was getting a divorce. Nobody had called her. Nobody knew anything. She's like, actually, I'm getting a divorce. Let me come and meet me, run some comps, and then I showed up to her house. I ran comps and I did everything that I had to do. And she gave me the listing. And I think she had just filed for a divorce. She wasn't even thinking of that process hadn't even passed. But I was the first one to call her. She's not getting bombarded with 100 million calls a day. She got one call from one person, but she didn't even know what she was going to sell or not. So I love geo leads. I love them. Like I said, I'm getting into Inspires now. How do you call divorce leads? I don't know where you can get divorce leads from. I know that if you team up with an attorney or you know anybody. I know that some of our agents do that. They reach out to attorney's office and stuff like that, just so they can try to get their business. I I didn't know she was gonna get divorced. I just called and she gave me the listing. So those are little things that I say. Like I said, I never say, hi, my name is Stephanie. I'm calling from Lifestyle International Realty. I'm a realtor. No, it sounds very boring. And what I try to do is I try to talk so they don't have time to cut me off. Hi, my name is Stephanie. Hi, my name is Stephanie. I'm calling from the area of Homestead. I dominate the area. I'm calling regarding your property. At one point, were you able to, at one point, were you thinking of selling, or are you thinking or knowing the value of your home? That's it. They tell you, no, I'm not interested. Okay, keep it moving. There's gonna be one that hits. It's a numbers game. So Pedro, I know you're having a hard time with expires. It's a numbers game. You just have to be very consistent. I've gotten a buyer from, so actually I started using for expires, I started using Vortex now. I've had it for like about a week. I got a buyer from it. She wasn't interested in selling, but she was interested in buying. So it works. You just have to do it. It is something that you have to sit down and you have to do it. I've noticed that during the afternoon hours is a little bit better for me. So I'll do from like 3 to 4 I try to do 3 to 4 every day. What's the app? I've used Vulcan and Vortex. Those are the two. I know there's a lot of them. There's like Mojo. There's another one. There's a couple of them that you can use, but those are the two that I'm using. I love Vulcan, by the way. Vulcan is one of the best ones. Do you guys have any questions? Do you guys want to role play with me? Do you have any questions or any bad experiences that you have? So I never call during the weekend. I never cold call during the weekend. I think that's I think that's somebody's personal time on the weekend. That's their time off. I usually call Monday through Friday from 3 to 4. Sometimes I'll do it for a little longer. So yes, I will. Geo leads are the best. Okay, do you guys have any questions? Okay, what else do you want to know about cold calling? What do you recommend to say?
Do you call on old expires or new expires?
I call old expires.
How old?
Maybe like 4 or 5 months old. That's what I'm calling expires. Like 4 or 5 months old. How do I get a rental listing? That's a good one. So I'm one of those people that I'm driving by and you see a for rent by owner and I'm calling that person. That's how I got my first sale. I call them and let them know whether they're paying commission or not. Hey, so you have to sell yourself, just like if you're getting a listing, just like if you're getting any other listing. Hi, my name is Stephanie. I'm gonna go ahead and help you with what you need. Sometimes I call them and I'm like, hey, do you have pictures? I might have a tenant for you. Perfect. They'll send me pictures. I post it on whatever website I'm using, whether it's Tenant Cloud, whether it's Facebook, and then I have a client. Are you willing to pay commission? Okay, yes, I'm willing to pay commission. Why don't you hire a real estate agent? Not only am I going to do your showings, I'm going to do the background check, I'm going to do the credit check, and I'm going to verify their income. You do not have to do none of the above. I will make sure that you have a good tenant, and I will do all your lease agreements, and I will do all your paperwork. So you just have to meet your tenant at the day of movement. I've gotten several listings like that for rental. That process of like having to run their background and do the verification of employment, they don't have time for that. And especially when it's an investment property, they're not going to sit there and they don't have time for that. So that's what you can offer them. That back office work, which is like running their background, but then you have to do it. You have to do the work. So you get the rental listing, you're starting to start getting offers, you have to call their employer. You have to make sure to call all of the sources so you can provide them with a good tenant. But yes, that's how I got my first sale. I passed by a for rent sign. She had a for rent by owner. I called her. I told her, are you willing to pay commission? She told me no, I'll pay you $900. I took it. I was like, $900 for a listing, that's fine. Whatever. It was my first. I was only in real estate for 4 months at the time. I took the rental listing and I posted it on Facebook. I got so many hits on Facebook. It was incredible. I hosted, I told her, I actually have a couple clients that would like to see your property if you will allow me to show it. She's like, I'm going out of town, da, 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 da. And I was like, hey, do you happen to have a spare key that you can leave me? I have a lockbox that I can put and we don't have to bother you. She actually gave me the spare key with the lockbox and I put it on the rental. But I got so much traction that what I did was on a Saturday, I hosted an open house. It was in West Kendall. It was in the Hammocks. I hosted an open house. Everybody came in. You kind of know who to qualify, who not to qualify when it comes to a rental. One of them was super desperate and she's like, I've been trying to buy. Perfect. When I heard I've been trying to buy, I was like, oh, let me take you to pre-construction. If you have a house, back then it was really hard to buy because there was no inventory. I took a pre-construction the next day and I sold her a DR Horton. That was 4 months within real estate. So that was the way I do it. You can call them. There's a lot of rental listings on Vortex that are expires that you can call. I'm doing back rentals. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going back into rentals because rentals is the lead game. It's actually just because they always call you back to buy. And I've had 2 of my old renters to call me to buy. So I'm going back into rentals. So I can start getting those leads again. But yes, they are I would do that. I would do rentals all day. Do you have to check to do not disturb? Yes, you do. Yes, you cannot call the do not disturbs. I wouldn't do it. I will call every other number. When I do pull up something on let's say on Vogue and it gives me 4 or 5 numbers, if one, you get fined for it. So try not to call them. But if you know that, let's say, because one time I called and they had the number that I had to call was do not disturb. She's like, hey, why don't you call my aunt? Because I think she is interested in selling. And that I got it from her. I called the other number that said do not, that didn't have the DNC. And then she gave me her aunt's information, so I was able to call her. That's how I did it. But I don't mess with the DNC list just because I know they find you. Okay, any questions? That's it. The local apps, yes, local apps. Like I said, farming your area is very important when you're doing cold calling because you want to sound confident that you know what's around because you're not gonna get a listing appointment with anything else. Oh, another thing. Don't ever talk about commission on the phone. I do not talk about commission on the phone. I do not talk about anything like that. Your objective is to get an appointment. Get an appointment. When can I meet with you? Let me take you some comparables regarding your property. Like I said, I already dominate that area. I do not talk about commission, the price of the house. I do not. Oh, because I have this upgraded, and this upgraded. Absolutely. Let me go ahead and try to see it in person so we can tell you what we can recommend to do. Yes, never, never, never talk about commission or the value of the home over a phone call. I think I got another listing like that the guy was like, oh, because I want $700,000. And I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and check it out. And when I went there, I stamped them back into reality and he was like, okay, no, okay, I'll sell it for $550. It's like, okay. So yes, it's very important. And it's very important to know what has sold in the area as well. So why I target these areas is because I already know what has sold in the area. I know what's around here. I know the schools. I know the shopping centers. I know everything in the area. So I know the value in the back of my mind. I already know what your house is worth. But I'm not going to tell you over the phone, but I already know what I can list your house for because I already know the neighborhood. So those are things that, you need to know. Okay. So never talk about commission, never talk about anything like that. I know there's a lot of laws coming out now with the seller not having to pay. I don't recommend saying that, oh, I'll take the listing for 1% because you don't have to pay the buyer's agent. I wouldn't recommend that at all. Like at all. Because what's gonna happen, I have a current buyer right now, and I'm calling every listing agent to make sure I'm getting paid commission. If you're not giving me commission, I'm not showing your property. So that's what you have to tell the seller. Yes, there is a new law that you don't have to pay commission to your buyers, but then again, do you really want your house to sit on the market for over 60, 70 days? Because nobody's gonna show it if you're not paying any, well, not commission, compensation. If you're not paying compensation, there's not a way that you're gonna get top dollar for your house. And they're gonna ask you for seller contribution. So I would not sell myself short. I will still ask for the 5%, and I would still break in half 2.5 on the other end. So don't do it just because everybody else is gonna do that. No. Okay, do you guys have any more questions for me regarding what I do? Since I'm a new agent. Okay, hold on. Since I'm a new agent, is there any way that I can get our broker up-to-date number, which the active listing, how many have sold within the year? Now you can use your brokerage to be able to sell myself. Absolutely. I do mention that once I get them that I have them on the phone, and I do mention that we have one of the top brokerages in Miami, that we have over 2,000 agents in Miami. You can get all that report, I think you can ask Cattle for it. On the MLS, I'll show you, Pedro, how you can see how much lifestyle has done. You can see everything. The Beck Group does a lot of homestead too, so you can also represent that. I work with one of the biggest real estate teams that dominate the area of homestead. So if you were to give me your listing, we're already on the upper hand because I have a brokerage that has over 2,000 agents in it, that they might have a buyer within it. So those are things that I do say yes. After the fact that I already have them on the phone, that I've already sweet talked them and stuff. I'm very friendly on the phone. I'm very friendly on the phone. I think that's what works with me. When you sound like very robotic, it's very boring. So I'll engage. Hi, ¿cómo está? I'm very, there's a lot of Cubans in Homestead now. So I'm like, oh, ¿cómo está? Mi nombre es Stephanie, yo estoy aquí en la zona de Homestead. So I do, like, I feel their vibes. So that's what I kind of do. And I'll talk about whether they want to talk about, oh, because I came from Cuba, or, oh, because I bought this house and now it's worth, I don't know what. I'll engage into the conversation. I will entertain it until I get that appointment. Once I get my appointment, then I can sit down with them in face and I can tell you, look, this is how it is. It's going to be a 5% commission. This is what I can offer you for the 5% commission. My marketing, I dominate the area. I will host an open house until your house gets sold. I will do reverse prospecting. I do the door knocking. I do everything. My sign will be up there from the minute that I list your property to the day that I'm done with the property. I will get to know your neighbors. So yes, I do say all that when I do co-op. Your concern is just to get the foot in the door. If you're getting the foot in the door, it's better. That's why I like geo leads, because they're not thinking about selling, or they don't. And then if they still give you the appointment, it's because you could have convinced them to sell. So that's why I like real geo leads. Do you guys have any more questions for me? I'm gonna put my number on the chat. So if you guys ever want to have a one-on-one or listen to me talk or cold call, you'll see. My name is Stephanie. Do you have a rental training? Oh, do you want a rental training? Okay, I'll do it for the Homestead branch. There is a rental training on YouTube to get rental listings, but I would do I can do one for Homestead if you like. Is there anything else? You have any questions? You guys want to role play? Let me know. No problem. Like I said, my name is Stephanie. I am the Homestead branch manager. If you guys ever need me, it's been a pleasure, okay? Bye, guys.